Stop. Right now, imagine your parents watching you have sex. Your kids are in the same room. Your grandparents are 3 feet away. To us, this is a nightmare. But for 200,000 years, this was every single night. 1 cave, 20 people, 0 walls. So, how did the human race survive if privacy didn't exist? The answer is brilliantly awkward, surprisingly genius. And it will change everything you think you know about our ancestors. Let's find out. Here's what most people don't understand about ancient life. Privacy wasn't just rare, it was impossible. Let me give you a number that will make your skin crawl. Archaeologists excavating the ancient city of Ur, one of humanity's first cities, found something deeply disturbing. The average family home, 0 square meters. That's the size of a college dorm room. But here's the nightmare part. That wasn't a room for 2 people. That space housed 2 people, sometimes more. And nearly 0% of these homes had no separate rooms. Just one open space, where everything happened. Eating, sleeping, giving birth, fighting, grieving, dying. All of it witnessed by everyone, every single day. But it gets worse. Go back even further. The Stone Age, northern Spain. Archaeologists discover a cave. Evidence suggests 2 people lived there, not in separate chambers. 1 single space. Think about that. Your partner sleeping beside you. Your children on the other side. Your parents, your siblings, your cousins. All within arm's reach. Every sound, every movement, every breath, witnessed, every night, for thousands of years. So the question isn't just, how did they have children? The question is, how did they maintain any sense of dignity? The answer? They got creative. And what they created was nothing short of genius. Anthropologist Dr. Sarah McKenna spent 3 years studying indigenous tribes deep in the Amazon. Tribes that still live the way our ancestors did thousands of years ago. And she discovered something that changed how we understand ancient communities forever. Children in these tribes fall asleep at sunset, around p.m. But adults? They stay awake for hours after that. This wasn't random. This wasn't just because children were tired. This was strategic, intentional, understood by every single member of the community. It created what anthropologists now call a social sleep window, a sacred period
over them.
Where adults had the community to themselves, where the fire burned low, where voices dropped to whispers. But here's the part that makes this truly genius. Ancient homes had no artificial light, no candles, no lanterns, no torches burning through the night, just a dying fire. And in that growing darkness, privacy existed. Not physical privacy, not walls or doors or curtains, but something more powerful, social privacy. You see, there was an unspoken rule in these communities, an agreement nobody signed, nobody announced, nobody ever talked about out loud. What happened in the darkness stayed in the darkness. Everyone knew what was happening in the shadows, but everyone pretended they didn't. They rolled over, they faced the wall, they closed their eyes a little tighter. It was a social contract. We'll look away, you'll be quiet. Dignity preserved. We have doors. They had darkness. We have walls. They had agreements. And remarkably, this worked. For thousands and thousands of years, this silent code protected communities. But here's the problem. What happened when even darkness wasn't enough? What happened in summer, when nights were short and fires burned bright? What happened when the cave was just too crowded? That's when they took it outside. A group of historians studying ancient Roman texts stumbled upon something strange. References to field work that had absolutely nothing to do with farming. Let me paint you a picture. It's ancient Rome, around 00 AD. You're a common citizen, not a senator, not a general, just an ordinary person. You live in an insula, a multi-story apartment building in the heart of the city. Your family shares one room with 3 or 4 other families. Your neighbors sleep 5 feet away. Their children, their parents, Their grandparents. All of you. One room. Every night. Privacy doesn't exist. So what did couples do? They left. Historical records reveal that across ancient agricultural societies, couples developed a code. I'm going to check the fields. I need to gather firewood. The well is less crowded after dark. And the brilliant part? Everyone knew exactly what these phrases really meant. Nobody believed them for a single second. But nobody said that either. It was an unspoken agreement. You pretend you're doing chores. We pretend we believe you. Everyone's dignity stays intact. In ancient Egypt, they went even further. Archaeologists discovered something fascinating in worker villages near the pyramids. Small structures, built at the very edges of settlements, away from the main living areas. Not storage huts, not tool sheds, privacy shelters. Couples could reserve them. It was normalized. It was understood. It was their community's official solution to an impossible problem. No shame attached, no judgment passed. Just a practical answer to a universal human need. But perhaps the most beautiful solution ancient humans ever created didn't involve darkness or fields or shelters at all. It involved an entire village coming together, across cultures that had never met each other, from the Amazon rainforest to the plains of sub-Saharan Africa, from Southeast Asia to the islands of the Pacific. Across the world, humans created the same social solutions to preserve dignity and intimacy. Communities separated by oceans still developed nearly identical systems of privacy and silent understanding. The honeymoon hut. Here's how it worked. When a couple got married, the entire village would stop what they were doing. And together, every man, every woman, every elder, every neighbor, they would build something. A small structure, simple, separate from the main village. Not permanent, just temporary. A few weeks, maybe a few months. And during that time, the couple had what almost no human being in ancient history ever had. True privacy, time to bond, to understand each other, to begin their life together. Not in a crowded cave surrounded by 20 relatives, but alone. And the community didn't just allow this, they protected it. If someone wandered too close to the hut, elders would redirect them. If children asked questions, adults would explain. That family needs their time. We respect that. The entire village became a guardian of that couple's privacy. And here's what makes this so powerful. After that period ended, the couple returned to communal life. Back to shared spaces. Back to collective living. Back to the noise and the chaos and the beautiful closeness of community. But they had been given something no one else could give them. A sacred beginning. This tells us something profound about our ancestors. They weren't primitive. They weren't unfeeling. They valued intimacy. They understood dignity. They just had to be more intentional about creating it. But there's one more piece to this story. The most uncomfortable one. The one that challenges everything we assume about ancient childhood. This is the part that modern audiences struggle with most. So let me be clear and respectful. In ancient societies, children understood life differently than children today. Not because they were abused, not because they were traumatized, but because childhood innocence, as we define it today, simply didn't exist in the same form. By age, or children in agricultural societies worked alongside adults every single day. They helped birth animals. They understood death. They saw the full, unfiltered cycle of life. Not on a screen, not in a classroom. In real life, every day. Death, birth, reproduction. These weren't taboo topics hidden behind closed doors. They were simply life. And children were taught deliberately, carefully, respectfully how to exist within that reality. Elders would explain, adults have private time. You ignore it. Certain sounds at night, you treat them as invisible. Discretion is a form of respect. Created something remarkable, a culture of collective privacy, where physical walls didn't exist but social walls did, where everyone understood their role in protecting each other's dignity. And here's what you need to understand. This system worked. For thousands of years, humans reproduced, raised children, built families, constructed civilizations, all without the privacy we consider an absolute necessity today. They adapted, they created codes, they built entire cultures around mutual respect. But then, one invention changed everything. The aughts. The Industrial Revolution didn't just change how people worked. It changed something far more personal. For the first time in human history, ordinary people, not kings, not emperors, not the wealthy elite, could afford homes with multiple rooms. The concept of a master bedroom was born. Children got their own sleeping spaces. Couples had rooms with doors that closed. Privacy transformed, almost overnight, from a luxury reserved for royalty to something the middle class expected as a basic right. And with that physical privacy came something nobody predicted: shame. Suddenly, the communal understanding that ancient humans had spent thousands of years developing vanished. What was once openly understood as a natural part of human existence became taboo. What was once protected through collective discretion became embarrassing. Something to hide not just physically but emotionally, psychologically, completely. We gained walls, but we lost the wisdom that came from living without them. We gained privacy, but we lost the community agreements, the social codes, the collective responsibility for each other's dignity. And perhaps most importantly, we lost the understanding that privacy was never really about walls. It was always about people. So, how did ancient humans have children with zero privacy? The darkness code, the outdoor escapes, the honeymoon huts, the collective wisdom of communities that looked after each other. But more than any of that, they had something we are quietly, slowly losing: collective respect. Today, we have more privacy than any human beings in the entire history of our species. Locks, walls, soundproofing, private rooms, separate floors. And yet, we are lonelier than any generation before us. Maybe that's not a coincidence. Maybe ancient humans understood something that we've built walls around and locked away. That true privacy isn't about being alone. It's about being surrounded by people who respect you enough to look away when it matters. They didn't have doors. They had trust. They didn't have walls. They had each other. And maybe, just maybe, that worked better than anything we've built since.